Welcome back to the Crypto Factor. Today, I am talking to Cheds. Cheds is a best-selling author, cancer survivor, cancer fighter. He wrote two books, My Battles with Cancer and Trading Wisdom. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Bitcoin. We're going to talk about the mentality you need to succeed in this industry. Cheds, thank you so much for doing this. Really appreciate it, man.
I appreciate that. That's a wonderful intro. It's great to be here, and I think we'll have a really great conversation.
Yeah, we will, man. And I want to get straight off the bat with I saw you on Ivan on Tech's video a while back, and then I watched some of your videos, and I noticed that you always start with a theme song. Tell me what's behind that. Tell me how that started, because that intrigued me.
Sure. So it's called Church of Eight Wheels, and I really actually haven't been doing too many streams myself over the long run, but over the last 3 or 4 months, I started doing some market updates, especially kind of as Bitcoin topped off, October, November, and on. It's called Church of Eight Wheels. It's kind of a funky, kind of a disco cut type of thing. Years back, I did shows with a buddy of mine called Big Jonas, and that was the intro music we had found. It was really, people liked it. So I kind of, when I decided to make my return to YouTube, I started using that again, and now I dance a little bit before the video and I dance a little bit at the end. And I think sometimes we take ourselves too seriously and we take trading too seriously. So a little music and a little bit of fun, I think, sets the table.
So should we start this interview with a little dancing in that music?
I think they can find that on my channel, Paul. We'll spare them today.
I will dance with you, man. The other question,
I believe you.
The other question I have is, why the anonymity? Why the mask? I'm sure a lot of people are wondering.
Yeah, privacy is important to me. I think it's nice to be able to reach out to people and connect with people and reach a broad audience. I just think it's important for me and for my family. I mean, you never know. People are just a lot of people in the world. I think it's better to err, on the safer side, and that's kind of what I'm doing. I appreciate that people respect that, and I understand that why people ask about it. It's weird, but this is my happy medium, and this is what I'm doing. So it's working, and I'll keep doing it as long as I can, I guess.
It is. I actually think it's cool, and it also differentiates you, and I think it's a very good intro. It's probably the best intro I've ever seen in a video, to be quite honest with you.
Okay. Appreciate that.
I want to talk to you a little bit about Bitcoin, the charts, and what you think is going to happen. But before I do that, I want to know a little bit more about you, Cheds. What's your name? Just kidding. Anonymity. Okay.
Big Cheds, Big Cheds.
Big Ched. Okay. So what's the what are you like as a person? Let's put it this way. If I met you in high school, we're sitting in the high school cafeteria, we're chilling out. I don't know. We were having lunch. We were looking around. What would I think about you?
Well, I was a lot different in high school for sure. People were very confusing to me back in high school. I'll give you that much. And I was definitely, I enjoyed things, but I had trouble with school. I had trouble in class. Never really seemed to do my homework, that kind of thing. But, I would try to be nice to people. I didn't really fit in any group, but I would think I had friends in every group. So I always had, different friendships that were patchwork and just happened to have kind of popped up. You'd probably say I was a nice guy, a little weird, kind of funny, I guess that's how you say about me today. But, I'm different. I've learned a lot about people. I get people, I get emotions. I understand what I'm going through, what other people are going through. So back then I really had no idea what I was doing. It's high school, right?
Right. And what happened after? What was your career path, if you will?
So after that, I spent some time. I've worked in the service industry a lot, like restaurants and sales. And academically, it was just like whatever. I got my degree, but it wasn't something I applied with my for work. I studied psychology, so that helped me to kind of learn about people. But in the real world, like a business, sales experience, grinding, managing salespeople and operations, and kind of just hustling and some creative aspects, marketing and stuff like that. So I kind of went down that path for a while. And I eventually found my way into what I'm doing now, kind of in the finance world. And I'd like to think of it as just trend analysis. I really just do trend analysis, and I really kind of love what I do. I got to be honest. And writing's fantastic. I love writing. I'm working on, my third book right now, and I'm editing it. I've got a solid draft, so I've got some good stuff there. I've got ideas for more things to do. So I guess that was kind of my path.
Nice, nice. So I was also into sales, but who's your favorite sales? Do you have a favorite author in sales or a favorite book or something?
I never really liked, I'd like to rather like do it my own style. There was never like, I don't want to follow someone else's sales method, you know.
Nice.
There's the stuff they teach, like what is it, like always be closing, but like I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
do that. You know, for me it was like you have to make the ask, you have to go for the sale. You know what I mean? If you know, stuff like that. I don't really have a salesperson, a sales, person I look up to now. So I don't have a good answer for that.
Cool. So when did you actually become a trader?
I started trading about 15 years ago. And I wouldn't say I started. I traded seriously. Started trading probably 8 or 9 years ago. But when I first started, it was like equities and big board stuff, and I was buying the headlines. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? I was buying the news, right, rather than the rumor. So I kept buying the top of the pump. I wasn't really doing well, right? It was that early stage where I read about something. You know, the market knew about it 2 months ago and it priced it in, and then I bought the top. So I struggled for a while, but I was messing around. I'll try Apple. I'll try whatever Microsoft. I'll just big board stuff. And then back in like 2013 and 14, I started trading on the over-the-counter penny stocks because a friend of mine showed me these like quote unquote companies, and they were moving crazy up and down. I'm like, wow. I mean, I thought trading was boring. What is this? And I got my butt kicked really bad. You know, I had some huge winners and some even bigger losers. And I kind of stumbled onto technical analysis. Japanese candlesticks really
Right.
got me interested. Really got me interested,
Steve
right?
Hassan.
Yep, Steve Nissen. And so from there, I grew. I mean, from there I started to like grow my brand online because I picked up some tricks and I liked teaching other people tricks because then I would almost kind of like not do it myself. It was a way for me to atone for my bad trades. It was a way for me to prevent myself and to grow as a trader. So I started passing on those tricks, and that was the beginning of my brand. And that just grew, until I discovered crypto in 2017, and kind of things took off from there.
Is 2017 when you first bought your first Bitcoin? If you bought Bitcoin, that is, or
Yeah.
you just traded?
Yeah, I bought my first Litecoin back then,
Gotcha.
Thanksgiving. And it was when I was diagnosed with cancer too. It was right at that time. There was so much going on. Bitcoin was running to 20K. And then it was Litecoin's turn. I picked up my first Litecoins before I ever bought Bitcoin. I bought Litecoin. And I actually didn't have a lot of funds at that point. It was a tough time for
Yeah.
me in my life, actually. So I had a small piece. I wanted a lot more. I couldn't have a lot more. And I wouldn't have known what to do it if I had a lot more at that point, because I was still very naive. Even though I was fundamentally sound in terms of some of my risk management approaches, I was still incredibly naive. There's a lot of things I didn't understand yet, trend analysis and just really important things that I've really dug into in kind of the years to follow.
Yeah. What kind of cancer did you have, if that's okay to ask?
Yeah, it's non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. I had stage 3 diffuse large B cell. So just
Yeah.
like one day I looked and I had like a lump in my armpit, and I was like, that's kind of weird, And then, I came to found out I had another one in my hip. So it was stage 3, both sides of the diaphragm, and I was able to beat it with chemotherapy and radiation.
Right.
And I guess I'm 3.5 or 4 years removed at this point, which is good.
Nice, nice.
But it, changed my life. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I was going through chemo as Bitcoin was hitting 20K. And so without
Yeah.
crypto at that time, I think I would have been in a really deep, dark depression. I would have been in a really tough place. And kind of the excitement of what was going on with crypto and growing my brand at that time allowed me to kind of focus my mind elsewhere.
It's funny because I had aggressive non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, stage 4,
Yeah.
mantle, B mantle was it called. I had chemotherapy, but I also had a bone marrow transplant.
Yeah.
But that one didn't work out, so it came back. But now they've got these new pills, ibrutinib. They're American, that they just came from, and I'm just surviving on these pills right now. Until they stop working, then we'll see what we'll do. It is what it is. But yeah, I went through it, and it's also funny. You wrote your first book back then. Was it my battles with cancer, or was Trading Wisdom your first book?
So first of all, you're incredibly brave to be going through what you're going through. I
Thanks, man.
think we shouldn't just gloss over that. I think you have a really tough battle, and anybody who's fought cancer understands that every day is important. You know, So today is good. I wrote that book about halfway through my treatment. I realized, like, I don't want to forget this part of my time, my life. I don't want to forget what these moments mean. I don't want to forget all these incredible interactions I'm having with people and these lessons I'm learning about myself and about life. And I just started writing notes and checking my old notes. And so I wrote the cancer book as I was going along, and I just was about to publish it, and then my mom got cancer.
Oh
So
wow.
after I beat my cancer, my mom had colon cancer. Just what you went through. My mom
Yeah.
passed, just as yours did. So
He
I
passed in my
talk about,
arms.
I was
It's
in
crazy.
your arms. It's it, brother. So I was a patient and a caregiver, and that's what that book is me going through that, seeing it from both sides, understanding, what how other people felt when they heard about my chemo diagnosis. Is, I get to feel about that when I heard my mother's regimen, just kind of all the juxtapositions of it. And so it was beforehand. And I guess every day's a gift, as I said.
Of course, I'm shocked because, like, as we were talking before, I didn't know this. I just heard this now, and my mother died of cancer. My sister died of cancer as well. They're very close to each other. My dad died recently, but not from cancer. But I took care of everyone I could. My sister was in England. Like, I didn't get to see her, but I took care of my mother and my dad. And it's that's when I wrote my first two books as well. When I was fighting cancer, and that was for
Inspiration, inspiration.
the reason I wrote them is because I wanted to recreate myself online, and because I knew I was gonna have to. I saw myself losing everything and going broke, and just like I'm like, okay, I have to recreate myself online. I'm not gonna be able to. I used to do emceeing and directing, video directing and stuff. I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to do that anymore. I'm not gonna be able to coach anymore. I'm not gonna be able to do public speaking. So I have to recreate myself online. And so I wanted to do it so I don't. So when I win, I wouldn't have to start from zero, but also to leave something behind in case I didn't.
Hmm.
So, and back then I used to say that cancer, if I survive, if I make it, it would be the best thing that ever happened to me, because it gave me a purpose, and it gave me, it gave me a lot. But at the same time, now coming
Yeah,
with
yeah,
it coming back, it's kind of like, oh, okay,
yeah.
maybe not this time around. you know,
Well,
you know.
a lot of that hits home. I had a moment where I thought it was coming back, and I had my oh shit moment.
Yeah, it is
And
scary.
and this is after my mom had passed, and I realized, hey, she's not gonna be around to help me this time. And then
Exactly.
that really hit me pretty deep. So this is a people are watching this are having a great time, and because we're talking
Yeah.
about some serious stuff here.
Yeah, but there is a lesson to be learned in the sense that you grind it out even while fighting cancer. I mean, and that is a
Yeah,
sign of success. That is something that you just have to keep fighting. And if anything, there is no excuse. I mean,
no,
you did this while you were fighting cancer. I kept on going while I was fighting cancer. I remember times when I couldn't even write. I had to record my book because I was in bed because of injections in my spine that went wrong, and I kept going. And people have to understand that a lot of people, they complain about about their surroundings and stuff like that, but you could do it. It's,
yeah,
if anything, use this to inspire you. I mean, if we can do it while fighting cancer, anyone can do it and become anything they want. Like, even if they're in trouble, even if you know what I mean.
well, we don't know who we are until until we see these moments, and people, how they respond to crisis really defines their character.
Yeah,
And many people don't know how tough they are until they're challenged. So there's stories like that across kind of our history, our shared history. And I think I understand a lot of what you're saying about that purpose that comes. And once you fight cancer, you don't take anything for granted. I dug so deep. I was broken down. Chemo broke me.
yeah,
There was nothing left. I was completely empty, and I had to build up. And I don't take it for granted, though. It's still in the back of my mind. It could be coming back. So I gotta just do what I can do today, which is try to just be a little healthier, a little bit
yeah.
healthier, a little bit stronger.
Well, good news is different new medicines are coming out all the time, man.
Yeah, they are.
So,
Yes.
what does it take to succeed as a trader? What does it actually take? What is the mindset you need? Because a lot of people just
What is
think
it?
it's just technical
Yeah.
analysis. I'll watch a few YouTube videos, I'll read a few books, and that's it. But what's the actual mindset that you need to succeed as a trader?
You have to be, probably the first word is patient. You have to be patient because there's a big difference between an opportunity and then, opportunity to make money and an opportunity to lose money. Those opportunities to make money are very, very few and far between. If you're a trader, you need volatility. You need a movement outside of the standard deviation, right? You need something that's a wild, extra move that's more than it usually moves. The rest of the time is just chop, just kind of price action designed to take your money. So patience is waiting for a really good setup. You need to be incredibly patient, and to just kind of, that's like the hardest thing with people. They're not patient and they're greedy, so they bet bigger than they should. A new trader needs experience. You need thousands of trades under your belt. So you should just bet like $10, $50. You got to bet a tiny amount to get that experience. And they start out with $1,000 trades, $500 trades, $5,000 trades, and then just lose it. And then now you can't get any experience because you lost your money. So those are the two things that really they got to start with. And beyond that, there's more conversations about learning resources and trade journaling and all that good stuff. But it's patience and discipline, without a doubt.
Do you think can anyone become a trader, or does it take a certain type of like?
Probably not.
No.
Probably, I don't think anybody. No, certainly not. I mean, I don't think anybody can play the harp, but maybe 7 out of 10 can. I mean, take any skill, and certainly, most people could if they applied themselves, but certainly not anybody, because there's certain people with zero impulse control. They're not going to be a good trader. There are people who are not visual, and they're not going to be good traders. You have to be a good visual learner with charts, with TA. You have to get a feel for it. You also have to have a good feel for other market participants, like the feel of what the market's doing. So I think you have to have some of that skill set as well. I do not think anybody can do it. But I think most people can be taught to become a break-even trader.
How long do you think it takes to learn to become a trader? I argue you can learn to drive a car in a month. Doesn't mean you can drive it like a pro.
Yeah.
I could show you the theory. Doesn't mean you can take my car and go drive it. How long do you think it actually takes?
It's like poker. A minute to learn, lifetime to master. And that's my 5th or 6th book project, is a crossover on poker and trading. And I kind of look at those similarities. It depends on the person. I'd say several years. Yeah. I'd say at a very, very minimum several years, and probably multiple markets. It helps you to kind of trade different markets, different, group of markets as well. So much longer than you think. Whoever's watching this and wondering, it's longer than you think is really the answer.
Nice. Do you do anything else other than trading, or do you do anything other than writing
like
books?
What, for fun or what?
No, for business.
I mean, I'm a founding analyst at Bitcoin Live. Which I've been doing that for 3.5 years. I do twice a week long form full market updates, and I haven't missed one in the years. So those are my people. I'm with Bob Lucas, Peter Brandt, Dean Dean See the Light, Axel, and Mark Dukas. Look, it's just a team of like outstanding guys. So that's like the centerpiece of what I do, actually, is Bitcoin Live. And I trade to make money, but also to get better, because I trade, I teach, I write. I kind of do all of it. So
got you.
Bitcoin Live, and for business, all that, the trading and all that good stuff.
So what does a typical day look for you like for you? You wake up in the morning, or does it start the night before? You wake up in the morning, what does it look like?
Yeah. I did steam shower today in the morning. I have a steam shower because that's like big for me. Like, it's palliative. It's like, if I can't breathe, I want to breathe. I get in that steam room. I just clean out. I had too much wine last night. I get in the steam room in the morning. I'm good. I clean out, drink some water. So I had a nice steam this morning, showered, and then I took my daughter to school. Then I came back. I'm playing New World, which is on the PC, which is like a MMORPG, massive multiplayer online role-playing game. So basically just played that a little bit, worked on my book, and then I'm just sitting there waiting for the market to open. I'm chilling. I have 2 offices here. I have an office here, and then I have an office in like an outbuilding, and I kind of float around. And I'm chilling. Like, my wife's at work during the day. I drop off my daughter. My wife goes to work, and I'm just chilling. My buddy's usually here. We're trading together. I'm thinking about lunch. And that's kind of the day when it's cold right now. I mean, if it's warm, I'm outside. I'm gardening. I'm fishing. I'm playing basketball. hanging out with friends, but the winter's a little different.
Surf casting or spinning?
Spinning bait,
Okay, so
spinning. I do
I do
fresh
both.
water.
I do both.
Nice. Yeah, I do
I
a
do
lot of
sea
just
water. Yeah.
lakes.
Yeah.
That's great. Fishing's good, man. I've never done too much of that. I'm just a lake fisherman.
It's once you get that bite, you forget about everything around you. You think about
Yeah.
nothing else, and you're just right
You
there.
gotta land it, right? You gotta land it. When you got
Yeah.
one in the line,
Calms
that's
you
it.
down too. Calms you.
Yeah.
It's an exciting sort of calm. You forget about all your problems, everything, right there and then. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, do you have any daily routines and morning rituals?
Breakfast and coffee, I guess. Nothing like that. No, I don't like nothing too fancy like 20 push-ups and then, read a book. No, I don't do any of that stuff. No, I mean, if I'm up, I'm hanging out. I'm just kind of I'm usually sitting here looking at Twitter. I'm looking at comments and videos. I'm just doing all the stuff I do,
Nice.
catching up on all my social media and all that good stuff.
So let's talk a little bit about Bitcoin and the markets, and we can come back to this if that's okay with you. What do you see in the markets right now? What would you say to people? Like, what's your analysis, if you will?
Well, Bitcoin's clearly in a relief rally, and I've been anticipating one after we broke 40K pretty violently. It's just a question of where we started that relief rally, 35K, or in this case, really dropped down to 32K, 33K rather. You dip below the Bollinger Bands on the daily. You're going to bounce back, and we've been bouncing back. We tagged the middle Bollinger today, the MA20. It's the same place it rejected on the relief rally in the middle of January, and same place it rejected at the end of December. So it's a little bit complicated talk. Basically, Bitcoin bears are in control. They've been in control since November, and they lost. The bulls lost 40K, which was really a big deal.
Yeah.
Now we're bouncing back a little bit because every move needs time to digest, and we're digesting the move down right now. We're at a critical point now where it may continue back down, right? Because 40K is the level that needs to be flipped. You're bearish below 40K, you're bullish above. You keep it real nice and simple. If you can flip 40K into support, you can start to use that and build that as a level to push higher, and then challenge that 46K level, which you need to flip then into support. So it's bounced, but I actually think there's a little more pain to come for Bitcoin, and I'll very quickly change my mind if we break 40K. I'm ready to change my mind with more information.
Yeah. Where do you think if we break the 40K, do you think we're still in a relief rally up to what targets?
If we go above 40K?
Or do you think we're going to go and retest the 52K mark after that, or 46?
Oh, if we break 40K, I'm watching 46. If you can observe the price action through December, that was the bottom of the channel. It held that support quite nicely, and then it broke it. So that's now a really well-established resistance level. So I would anticipate perhaps us channeling between 40 and 46K for a period of time. And then ideally you build the higher low of support, maybe 44K for your higher low of support. Then you can re-challenge the 46K and maybe break through it.
Nice. And and being in a technical bear market, that's what I call it. I don't know if you agree. Where do you think it will take us? And I know things change every day. And the disclaimer right now, things could change tomorrow. Yeah. Where do you see it right now going down to?
If we rejected 40K.
If we rejected 40K, I'm pretty sure we're going to retest the 30K level. But what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. There's these big zones. 30K was a big zone. It's the bottom of the 80-day rectangle from May, June, and July of 2021. We break 40K, we'll test 30K. What I'd be looking for is a temporary violation of 30K and then a recapture. So perhaps breaking 30K and then getting right back up above it. And then I would go long in that signal. In the meantime, we're kind of at the top of this channel. We're at 30 to 40K channel, and we're right at the top of the channel. So you don't want to get bullish at resistance. We're at resistance. We need to flip this into support. We've now bounced green in the last 8 of the last 10 days. It's a relief rally. It's not unanticipated, and it's incredibly it's a vanilla relief rally. It's incredibly not unexpected. So we should understand these price moves and be prepared to perhaps take profit in our lower entries and really strictly and carefully watch the price interaction with 40K, pretty much.
If you are in right now, would you use a stop loss under the 38K mark?
It will depend on my entry, Paul. I mean, it depends. Sure. I mean, I would say, and honestly, to answer your question a little bit more detailed, what I probably would have had at this point is if I'm in, wherever I got in, maybe on that initial dip below like 34, I would have had multiple entries. So rather than like $1,000, I might have like five $200 entries. So I
Yeah.
might have multiple stop losses. So I might have one at 38, one at 37, maybe one at like 36.5. There is a little bit of support here, kind of in the daily chart in that like 36.7 to 37K range. So that's, you could see a drop here and then bounce off 36.5, 36, 37. So you might want to keep a little taste just below that as well. You kind
Right.
of stagger your positions so you don't get completely, because it's happened to all of us where a big move down, all the stop losses triggered. We're like, what the hell happened? You're like, I knew it was gonna bounce, but they just took me out.
Yeah.
And so you spread it out.
Yeah. Do you only trade Bitcoin or also other cryptocurrencies?
I trade them all. I definitely trade them all. I trade Bitcoin. I trade whatever has relative strength. I'll
Nice.
trade what I closely watch the best performing altcoins, and I throw my funds in the direction of relative strength. That's my philosophy.
Awesome. Okay. What about failures? Have you had failures and how do you handle them? And obviously, we've all had failures,
I
but I
mean,
just want to see how you handle your failures.
my
How do you,
book.
your
Yeah, I
book?
mean, I had failures. I'm the king of failures. That's why I can teach so many things. I've made every mistake, every dumb mistake in my book. Like I made like a million times, and that's why I had to write this stupid book so I stopped making the mistakes. I'm incredibly terrible at trading, right? That's why I wrote the book, right? So every mistake, sizing too big, buying the top of the pump, buying based on someone else's tweet, hating trading against myself. I mean, just whatever. I mean, yes. How do I deal with it? I'll tell you how I deal with a tough position. When I have a big loss, I kind of have to shut it off for a bit, take a day or two off. I got a hard break because you can't really fight your way out of like a tough loss. You gotta just stop, examine the emotion, embrace it, and let it pass through you. You gotta stop. You have to stop what you're doing and face it for a second and just deal with it and then move on. Right? Otherwise, it's still hanging around. So you gotta stop and deal with it. That's what I do. Take a little break, and then usually I'll
Got
come
you.
back with a little bit of hope and enthusiasm.
Got you. So if someone could read only one chapter from each of your books, which by the way, I'll have them linked down below. If someone could read only one chapter, which would be the most
Yeah.
important chapter? Which one would you suggest they read?
In the
And why?
cancer book, I never really thought about that for the cancer book. Let's see. That's a tough part. Where would I would say somewhere in the middle, the first part. I guess I could put, okay, how I survived chemotherapy, which is in the first part, and I kind of talked about like what helped me,
Yeah.
little things that helped me kind of to get through it. In the cancer book, I mean, in the trading book, kind of put me on the spot. I never thought about that. I'd say Be Ready probably would be the one where it's like, don't panic, stay calm. Lesson 3, stay calm under pressure. I think that would
Stay
probably
calm
be
under pressure. That's a good one for
stay calm
life
under
in general.
pressure. Yeah, I would say that would be a good one to stick with.
So what about 3 pieces of advice you can give people wanting to become traders right now? They're watching this interview.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
seeing this. They're getting excited. Like, I could do that. Okay, yes, I'm going to get my head down. I'm going to read the book. What's 3 pieces of advice you can give them?
You want some good quotes or what? Let's see. I'll tell you. Here we go. I'm actually working on a quote book. I have to find the ones. Basically, don't, if you want to expect it to suck for a long time and expect to fail many times before you could even break even. So you got to start out with the mindset where it's not going to be easy and you're probably going to get really frustrated and you're going to want to give up. Any skill like that, you have to be open. You have to realize it's going to be really, really hard. You can't just think, I'm going to wing it. I'm going to, I'm just going to do it. No problem. Number 2 is you have to look for a simple approach. Most new traders make a big mistake where they add all these indicators and they keep looking for a kind of a, cookie cutter approach. Well, this worked last time. I'm going to try this thing over here. Whatever your system is, it's too complicated. Just watch price versus support and resistance. When the price establishes a resistance level, can it break through it? Once it breaks through it, can it hold it as support? Just watch that. You'll be in great shape. And third, I would say is you need to bet with less money. You have to start out with each position size, whatever you're betting now, divide by 5, divide by 10, and just really give yourself a lot of experience. That's what I would say.
Got you. All right. And I got one more question for you, man. And I would love to have you here again to do some more questions, to talk some more with you, if you're willing to come back. But I have this one
Sure.
question. What if someone could ask you one question? But no, what is the one question that people seldom ask, but you wished they asked? So what's the one question you wish people asked you, but they never do?
They wish they asked me.
That you wish they asked you, but they never do.
I get all. I'd say the question is not asked enough. Probably is, and probably would be like, what's a good textbook? And it's become more in fashion recently. But I would say like, where should I read if I want to get serious? Like, what should I read if I want to learn classical charting? Where should I start if I want to get serious about TA? Because most people have shunned textbooks historically. They'd rather just have like a paid group leader tell them what to do, or just follow like a signal service. And those are hit or miss. And maybe, maybe not, right? So you want to learn for yourself, rely on yourself, because that's the only way. And so people say, what should I read first? That's the question I wish they would ask more.
And what's the answer?
I would start with the Candlestick book by Steve Nissen.
Yeah.
Or the Schaubacher book, technical analysis and stock market profits for classical charting.
Nice.
I tweet those 2 out, and that gives a really good sense of Western and Eastern technical analysis. And then, I like CMT. It's really good if you want to be serious about it as well. Chartered Market Technician course.
Nice. And also, of course, your book as well. Again, I'll have it linked down below.
Of course.
You can find you in the links above right here and below the video. Subscribe for more videos like this one. If you enjoyed and you got value from, please subscribe to Big Ched's channel as well, because I know now you're getting on YouTube. You're also on Twitter. I'll leave all those links. Cheds, thank you, man. Really appreciate it, man. This was great.
Of course. And we're with you, man. You're strong, and I think you're going to do just fine.
Will do, man. Will do. Thank you. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.